We have breaking news tonight. Authorities are on the scene of an officer-involved shooting in Abbeville. Now, this is all that's left inside the Mount Pleasant Baptist Church outside of Sunset. According to the church stone, it was built in 1904, and despite the destruction, church members say they are going to rebuild in this exact spot. In the Weather Center now with Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Heath Morton. Heath, we're bracing for another round of storms. When can we expect these storms to roll through our area? Welcome back to our continuing coverage of the St. Landry Parish church fires and arsons. We're inside the Mount Pleasant Baptist Church, what's left of the Mount Pleasant Baptist Church. And as I said earlier, Darla, you certainly get a sense of the seriousness of these crimes, of these arsons, when you stand in the middle of, you know, the altar was right there, and the first pew was right here. The video gaming company behind such popular titles as Fortnite and Infinity Blade is not responding to numerous customer complaints. Construction should then begin sometime this summer. While the roundabout at Chemin Metairie and Savoy Road will be built starting in 2020. Each roundabout will cost the city of Youngsville about $1.8 million. Things are a lot different this year. They were able to bid on their routes during the third week of May. That means they've had all summer to drive their routes and to find out if there were any problems along the way. The DOTD, Darla, shut down this road at 8 o'clock tonight. It will be shut down until 6 in the morning. Now you can see they have the floodlights up and the scaffolding up. They're just getting started now. The DOTD crews, they will be fixing cracks on the bridge counterweights. Strong words there from Governor John Bell Edwards talking about the arrest made in these 3 arsons at predominantly black St. Landry Parish churches. That arrest, of course, announced this morning at a news conference featuring the governor as well as the St. Landry Parish Sheriff's Office, the State Fire Marshal's Office, ATF, FBI. They were all there. That's right. The suspect, Holden Matthews, turned himself into authorities last night and faces charges of arson. That's right, and he has now been transferred, News 10 confirms, to the Catahoula Parish Correctional Center. He was transferred there from St. Landry Parish. For these church communities. That's right, and News 10's Dalford Jones joins us now live from St. Landry Parish with more. Dalford, how you doing? Thanks so much, Dalford. Now, this is what used to be the inside of Mount Pleasant Baptist Church here outside of Sunset. And Darla, you and I have been reporting on these, and our anchors have been doing such a great job reporting on these stories for the past 2.5 weeks now. And we've seen the destruction through their lenses, through their video cameras, but actually being inside this church, I mean, this really hits home for me, and it's just so amazing to see this. Just all the destruction. It's just the sadness that these church members are going through. Absolutely, Rob. I couldn't help but notice. Thank you so much, Lester. Thanks, Lester. Of course, emotions running high through 3 church communities over the past 2.5 weeks. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Sylvia. And back here at Mount Pleasant Baptist Church, you see there are some folks kind of looking over the rubble and the remnants of what was the church here. Certainly very sad situation out here. Absolutely, Rob. In fact, they walked in just a few minutes ago with News 10's anchor Tracy Wirtz. And Tracy's going to have more information on what led to Matthew's arrest. Tracy, good evening. We have breaking news tonight. Authorities are on the scene of an officer-involved shooting in Abbeville. That's right. A female Abbeville police officer was shot. And that's where we find News 10's Lester Dewey. He joins us live with the latest. Lester, what can you tell us? All right, Lester, thanks so much for that live report. And of course, we'll see you later in the newscast. Now I'm in the Weather Center with Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Heath Morton. Heath, we are bracing for some storms to come into Acadiana. What can we expect? Right. Well, voters could see new machines at the polls as early as next year. That's if the state's election chief gets his way. Secretary of State Kyle Ardoin says he plans to get his effort going by summer. He tells Harrison Golden all about it. Ardoin plans to hold a week-long vendor viewing for clerks of courts and registrars to weigh in on the bid process. Well, the city of Scott's growth and potential growth has been well documented. News 10 anchor Jeff Horchak has more on the emergence of service companies popping up all across the city. It's a story that you'll see only on 10. Mayor Richard says there are currently about 20 service companies in the city of Scott.
Finally, some nice weather returns next week.
That'll be a relief.
Looking forward to it, yes.
Right, a lot to talk about, yeah.
Gotta get that out of the way,
exactly.
the storm.
Coming up, we have continuing coverage of the Abbeville police officer shooting and the search for a suspect considered armed and dangerous. We continue to follow our breaking news now, where authorities are on the scene of an officer-involved shooting in Abbeville. And we now rejoin News 10's Lester Dewey. He joins us live from Abbeville with the latest. Lester. News 10's Lester Dewey has been following this saga from the beginning. Lester, what happened at tonight's meeting? New details tonight in the shooting death of a Sunset man. Police have identified the suspect accused of killing Kendrick Lawrence. The suspect, Walter Savoy Jr., is charged with second-degree murder. Police confirmed that Savoy was arrested 16 times before this. Heavy flames consumed an historic Port Barre church. Fire crews in Port Barre battled the early morning blaze that broke out at the St. Mary Baptist Church today. Firefighters say no one was around when the fire started. The church was destroyed because firefighters were unable to determine how it started. They have asked the Louisiana Office of State Fire Marshal to assist in the investigation. The church was built in the 1800s and is a well-established church in the community with many members. The city of Youngsville plans to build 2 more roundabouts. Now, both of them will be located in the Youngsville Sports Complex. Here's more in a story that you'll see only on 10. Coming up, the mounting frustrations that licensed marijuana pharmacists in the Bayou State share.
I think most areas don't see frost next week.
It's been so nice, though. It might be like a shock to the system to have these 40s back, you know?
Almost like a shock to the system to have all the sunshine. This is great.
That's true, too. Yeah. Of course, there's a huge sigh of relief now that a suspect has been caught. So what is next for these historic churches? Here's what we found out. The fires gutted St. Mary Baptist Church in Port Barre, Greater Union Baptist Church in Opelousas, and Mount Pleasant Baptist Church near Sunset. Virgie Esprit has been coming to church here since she was a child. It was hard for her to see the church like this, but now that an arrest has been made, she was ready to see the damage for herself.
I think I feel much better now, much better. And I don't have no hate in my heart for nobody.
21-year-old Holden Matthews has been charged with 3 counts of simple arson of a religious building. Now, this is all that's left inside the Mount Pleasant Baptist Church outside of Sunset. According to the church stone, it was built in 1904, and despite the destruction, church members say they are going to rebuild in this exact spot. Eddie Taylor and James Esprit are deacons at the church.
We will rebuild in the same location. Yes.
Pastor Freddie Jack, president of the 7th District Missionary Baptist Association, says all 3 churches had insurance and plan to rebuild. Still, the insurance money won't cover everything, so they're trying to raise $1.8 million through a GoFundMe account.
We need all the help that we can get right now,
right.
But our help comes from the Lord.
Yeah.
That's why our help comes from.
Do I have hate for the guy? No. I can't hate him. I'm going to have to forgive him. What he did was wrong. Maybe he didn't know better. I'm sure he didn't know better.
Now, last year, a lot of things happened at the same time, which caused some problems at the beginning of the school year. This year, the school system is hoping for a much smoother ride. James Thomas has been driving a Lafayette Parish school bus for 3 years. He's also the school system's transportation specialist. He remembers all too well some of the problems at the beginning of the last school year. Angry parents expressed frustration about the location of bus stops and their students not being picked up.
It was very crazy. We had to kind of adapt to what was going on.
Last year, the school board cut the transportation budget. 23 bus routes were eliminated. Bus drivers didn't get their routes until early August, giving them only a week to learn them. Things are a lot different this year. They were able to bid on their routes during the 3rd week of May. That means they've had all summer to drive their routes and to find out if there were any problems along the way.
The drivers know where they're going to be going. They're not stressed. Office staff is not stressed trying to prepare them at the last minute.
Losing bus routes wasn't the only problem last year. The school system also did its first major rezoning in about a decade, and it launched new bus routing software called Versatrans.
So we took on a lot of challenges last year. And in hindsight, it might have been nicer to take 1 or 2 items and then slowly implement.
This year, there were only 2 spot rezones. The bus routing software is in its 2nd year of use. School leaders say all students have now been assigned to their buses, including magnet school and gifted students. The school system also added 2 permanent transportation clerks at the call center, raising the number of clerks from 1 to 3. It means there will be at least 1 transportation clerk available from 7:30 a.m. until 5:30 p.m. There will also be 13 temporary call center employees for the first 2 weeks of school. Parents can find busing information on the parent portal system or the e-link system on the LPSS website. If you have any problems, you can call 521-RIDE to reach the call center.